David, can you be my YouTube checker? Since you're so good at that, especially with my volume and stuff. I think we're good. Let's go to.
Sorry, I heard my name. What do you want me to do?
I'm checking on YouTube now.
I was gonna see if you can go to YouTube and just check to make sure.
Where's my keyboard? My keyboard is hiding.
How do you join and not have a keyboard?
I have this fancy keypad I use to punch in the pen that lets me unlock the computer, and the rest was done with a mouse.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it looks like we're live, but it's not. No, it should have my. All right, this is gonna. Yeah, well, it looks like we're live. My voice sounds good. Looks like we're good. So we have no views right now, which is fine because we're just really getting set up. But presentation. Get to the right slide. Share. Nope. Presenter view. Now I need to go back to Meetup and share presentation. Sure, we're gonna move this over here. Come back to that. Let's do that. All right, you guys see that?
Yep.
Cool. All right, let's get this.
Yep.
Let's get this show on the road. Anyone got any good April Fools jokes or things that happened this past month or on April Fools that they either experienced or saw as like really interesting? Just anything in general, not necessarily cybersecurity related.
One of the local bands in Columbia posted this hugely produced, I don't know, video. They're a group called Sam and Ilya, and they're in a bunch of different bands, but those are the humans. So they posted this video on Instagram how instead of just doing wedding music or whatever you call it, they were going to start doing divorce music. So you would hire them to come to your divorce, and they would have a whole party, and there would be music, and it was a big thing. It was awesome.
That is fantastic, by the way. That's a great one. Any others people saw? I didn't really see any. I was actually on spring break, so I did not participate.
We're all good. I'm just piloting the ship here, but
the camera was all over the place for a minute. I was worried about you.
Yeah, sorry about that. I decided to move it.
I just realized that we have two Adams, by the way, which is just total, kind of today's.
You're doomed, is what that means.
I am doomed. All right. Oh, cool. So introductions. You got myself. And Adam, who's the co-founder, Adam Twitty. You also have co-organizers of Jeff, Corey. Will, you need to send us a picture, or I will find one, or I will make one myself.
Sounds good.
I vote that you have Corbin draw one.
Ooh,
yeah.
Hold on. Do I have one around here? Corbin's actually really good at drawing pictures. Yeah, this is actually a few years ago, but that's a Lucio out of Overwatch, because I play Overwatch a lot. But yeah, and this is a few years old at this point, so he's gotten a lot better. So actually, that's nice. One of the things I had to pick him up from today was art class. So he's really getting into that. So he could draw a picture for you. It'd be really good. All right, getting connected. We're on Slack. We're on colasec.org, which is going to change. info@colasec.org, which might change. LinkedIn group, which might change. I told myself I knew I needed to change something on the slide, and I did not do it, which is the ExploreSec YouTube channel, which is where all these videos are going live, so you can come back and watch them again. So if you have a presentation, would love to hear it. We are always looking for more presenters. Otherwise, I might just do a live recording like last month. I had my buddy Kyle on to talk about ransomware gangs and how they work, which I really enjoyed. We had been trying to do it for a few months at that point, so it was good to get that knocked out. But otherwise, I will have content on, which is fine because that's kind of what I do with the podcast and everything. So it's not hard to just have somebody that wants to do an interview come on. But if you're looking, this is a good opportunity to try it out. In fact, tonight I'm running my own presentation that I will be giving at B-Sides Knoxville and ShowMeCon this year, and I've submitted it to a few other conferences. So this is kind of how I do this every year. There's at least one month where, in April's usually it, where I do a presentation using CholaSec to kind of refine it. So I have 42 slides this time, so I don't know how long this is going to take. It's not
God.
Yeah, no, it's not as big as the Verizon DBIR, but that's about to come out. So we might have a Verizon DBR at the very least.
Wait,
Please
a
no.
series?
Huh?
A series on the Verizon DBIR?
We could do a series. I mean, that actually wouldn't be a thing. Verizon DBIR, that's the big thing, is that we went through like every industry. And so I had like 60 slides on that one. And I thought it was going to be quick for each one, but we started like really digging into each industry about some of the takeaways from it. So that's really what hosed it down. It was like was that like a 3-hour meetup before Jeff was like, all right, we're done here. I'm going to bed. It was like midnight at that point. So yeah. So either way, if you have an idea, presentation, you want to try something out, this is a good opportunity to come. We won't bite. We will provide feedback and lots of laughs. If you're looking to volunteer or help out, we are trying to build out the ExploreSec online community. So hit me up. Mental Health Hackers, this is a organization we like to support. We lost a member a few years ago due to suicide. So it's something that we always want to recognize, especially around this time. I actually recently read about the fact that it's not necessarily like December, January. It's when people are coming, like we're actually entering spring, that there's a higher risk for some mental health issues going on. So, if you need help, there are resources there. Upcoming events, the local Linux users group meets every second Tuesday of each month. I talked to Ben last month, and he never sent me. I asked him for a link because it sounds like they're not meeting in person anymore, but they have a Google group where you can get connected. It is active, and I'm sure there'll be updates there. But yeah, I need to take the Palmetto Cyber Conference out. I did not do that. I don't think anyone here went to that. I did get some good feedback from some people that we were able to get a couple free tickets. Oh, did you go, Adam?
I went there for one day. Yeah, I met Mackenzie there, and he pointed me at you guys here. I grew up in Augusta, and I've been like trying to build a network around here. I moved back. My family's all here, but I haven't been here since I graduated high school, so I don't know anyone, and so I'm trying to build up a professional network around here. I went there for one day and just talked to people and tried to find like people that are local and everything, and trying to find groups to join that that are in Augusta, Columbia, maybe Atlanta and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you want to hit me up, I have some people in Atlanta I could probably get you connected with, or at least get you tapped into some of the Atlanta market. I know some of the people there.
Okay, yeah, that would be great.
Yep. I think we were the only. I think there's a couple other groups in Columbia, South Carolina, but like I said, we're going virtual only, which is not a bad thing either. You can build a network there as well too. So that's good to hear that you got something out of that. So, and welcome too. Mackenzie's one of our favorite people. So
thank you.
Yep, we miss Mackenzie.
I'm gonna bug him. Like now that it's virtual, he has no excuse not to be here. We were trying to just get him in person, but it's like he like world travels and stuff. So.
He was very reliable until he joined Dragos, and then he got busy.
I will text him. Maybe I should text him right now. Just remind me to text him. Put that on the organizer's notes, David. Write that down.
This is why David left.
This is why David left.
100%.
He was running everything. You were running. You kept us alive during the downtime. So, we appreciate.
And then I ran away.
Yep. And yet you keep coming. Coming up, B-Sides Knoxville and Nashville is May 9th and 10th. So excited for those. That's again, I'm not doing Nashville. They're back to back. So I will be doing Knoxville. I'm not doing Nashville for the first time since like 2014. because they're back to back, and I'm just going to do one. Knoxville accepted my talk. Nashville did not. So that's why I'm driving 3 hours to go to a Knoxville concert. But like the conference there, they give me walk-up music, which is I don't get at any other conference. So that's kind of cool. I did pick Taylor Swift "Shake It Off" last time. What? I need to figure out what I'm going to pick this time. So, and then ShowMeCon, June 6th to the 10th. It is one of my favorite conferences. They have training this year, so check out ShowMeCon.com if you're looking for training or just to go to a great conference. If you use ExploreSec, you can get $50 off. So they gave me an actual promo code for that kind of thing. WAP. Dude, David, you know what's so funny is I for the first time just heard about this like a few months ago because I am catching up on the real Fake Doctors, Real Friends podcast, and they spent like an episode talking about that song, but this was like 4 years ago when the song came out. So I still haven't listened to it, but I just know what it is now.
Oh God. Beware.
I know. They were talking about it, so I have the idea of what it is. So, and I like that one too.
Ask your children.
Yeah, I'm sure my children do know. They probably have seen it. You're not off there. Let's see. So news. Let's get into some of the news. So Google has acquired Wiz for $32 billion. Which is just mind blowing. I know who Wiz is. I don't know if you guys know who they are, but they do a lot of like within cloud security, the cloud security space. I met a rep here. It sounded really interesting, but I don't know. I don't know how it got 32 billion. Like Google's acquiring them for 32 billion, but maybe it's just it works that well. I don't know. Anyone ever used Wiz here or knows about it? Okay. Anyways,
I mean, the primary way that I would guess it got to 32 billion is because stock valuation is just made up bullshit.
Well, they were threatening to go IPO, so but this company was founded in like 2020. It was founded by Microsoft execs in Israel. They declined a $23 billion offer in July of last year. And looked to go IPO instead. And then in March of this year that Google announced that they had a cash deal, which is their biggest acquisition ever. It is meant to help strengthen their cloud security offerings. And they will do both Microsoft and AWS as well still as the offering. So it did all the cloud. So thoughts, comments? Like you think you've already said it, Adam? Yeah, exactly. All right. Now, Adam has told me, he has promised me this next one, he's going to have a lot to say on it. So before we unleash the Adam, Trump officials mistakenly added the Atlantic's editor to a signal chat on Yemen strike plans. It included weapons timing and targets. There was an iPhone content mix-up by NetSec advisor Mike Waltz. The administration claimed the info wasn't classified. It did spark bipartisan concerns and calls for investigation. Signal also got a huge boost out of this. Like like Signal had the largest amount of downloads they've ever had.
Amazing advertising.
Yeah, so this was some really great advertising, but they eventually in this. I think this is one of the tweets. You can kind of see this is one of the more, I guess, off-topic tweets, but it's just it's funny to see officials still using emotes a lot like we would. But Adam, your thoughts?
I mean, we throw kids in jail for way less than this. The War Thunder forums are in absolute shambles.
I don't know what those are. What are the War Thunder?
So War Thunder is the place that keeps getting in the news because someone in the military decides to share classified information in the forums.
Oh,
it happens over and over. Like it's a thing at this point that like it's a timer. How long is it going to take for the next time to happen? But like,
Let it out.
This shit,
It's words.
this shit's not supposed to be. There are official channels set up for this. The government has done this for decades, and they're just ignoring it. And
Yes. No, I agree. But I mean, this is also the new age, right? This is it's convenience at this point. This is why use a secure, encrypted channel that no one's gonna read versus, hey, let's all just get on.
well,
Signal.
because it's part of the reason that we have records is so that people can review them, and you can't review them when they're on Signal and getting deleted automatically. And like, this is from the same administration that's disappearing people into foreign jails. That fourth box is looking real useful.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a bit of a snafu, right? Especially if they're using like personal devices that has journalist contact information. And apparently too, like I don't understand how, because maybe I just pay this much attention, but I'm shocked often how, because it says on there, Atlantic, I can't remember the Atlantic editor's name. It was like James something or whatever, but is added to the chat. How does no one see that in what they're considering like classified conversation?
It's Jeff Goldberg, by the way.
Jeff Goldberg. Jeff Goldberg has entered the chat. There is a notification that happens. How does no one notice that and go,
right. No one at this level is paying any fucking attention to what's going on when they're discussing the actual details of an ongoing military operation.
Right. Yeah.
And if anyone at, any normal rank in the military did this, they would just never be seen again. We would put them under a jail somewhere, and that would be it. But it's different spanks or different ranks. And that's just...
Well, so I did read that I think Mike Waltz is losing, because this has become such a big thing. He's losing a lot of support in that administration. So I wouldn't be surprised.
He should have lost his fucking job 11 minutes after it happened.
Well,
and then
they're just handing out top secret to everybody that they want to hand top secret clearance to.
This is declassified. That is highly classified.
Yeah. Well, and they're taking
Whatever
away
made up.
classification from people like Chris Krebs. So they're just doing whatever they want because they've decided that the top secret clearance vetting process is
what's
too
being
onerous.
done. What's being done to Chris Krebs is a crime.
Yeah, that's enough, and I don't have that as a news item, so feel free to talk about that here because that did pop up yesterday I think. So I have not added that.
Yesterday, the day before, I have no idea. Everything feels like it was 5 minutes and 6 years ago at the same time. If you're not aware, he was a director of part of the intelligence apparatus that did not go along with Trump's claim that the election was rigged. And Trump used an executive order to direct his current intelligence apparatus to investigate Chris Krebs for treason. That didn't need to be an executive order. For one, it's wildly unethical and probably illegal for two. And can you tell I hate these fucking people?
Yes.
I just fucking hate these people.
Tell me how you really feel. Yep. So yeah, lots of angst within what the country's doing. I think it's interesting. I'm just more of a popcorn, watch the train wreck kind of guy.
The banana republic making machine has turned into a banana republic itself, and I'm just a little bit.
Yes, there's going to be fallout from all this stuff. I think, it definitely. I was thinking about this the other day, or was it yesterday? Like Andrew Jackson, right? The presidency in history, when it was first set up, was kind of just a seat, right? There was no power for the president, and then Andrew Jackson really established some power. So, I almost wonder if Trump's trying to establish more, but I feel like it could backfire on him. Like he's already got a lot of lawsuits against him and other stuff. So I think there's definitely a lot within the government that's going to start providing some pushback. And I think, we're not going to get into it, but the tariff stuff and all this other stuff, it's just creating a lot of swirl. And I'm more curious to see what the fallout from a lot of this stuff is.
we've blown past, like, I don't know how many. It's a lot. Different points where I'm like, surely we can't go past here. Like, surely it has to stop. I don't know. The train has no brakes. I'm not sure there's any curves on the track. It's just straight down the fucking mountain. And poor Kai Rizdal. Oh my! I don't know if any of you listen to the Marketplace segment of NPR that comes on right around now. But he's just been like losing his mind over the tariffs and all of the impact on the markets, and like there's no, like, what the fuck are you people doing?
Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, but this has been the playbook, right? This is what Trump is, and he's just kind of amped it up in his second term, because the idea being, right, is that he can't get reelected and hold your third term kind of stuff, right? Like I get that. That's a thing too. I will tell you, if that happens, I'm with everybody else. Like, get the dude out. He's done. Like, he's done his 2 terms. He's out. Like, I am politically agnostic. I would say right now I don't vote, because it's all kind of bullshit to me at the end of the day as well too.
Well, it would be nice if the Democrats would actually hold a fucking primary.
Well, yeah, but so I think both sides have a good thing, but you know, if that happens, I'm ready. Let's go revolution, right? I'm ready to conscript, or not conscript. I'm ready to join whatever side it is to get the guy out, right? So, and I think enough people too that have been kind of in the middle or on the fence, or you know, whatever, or will get involved and be like, no, that ain't happening. But that would be interesting if that happens. I don't think it will, but I guess we'll kind of see, right? So we've kind of gone a little political, and again, I am talking out of my ass, because I have no idea I don't pay attention to a lot of this stuff. It's just a lot of this stuff kind of filters to the top because it's interesting, and it's kind of hard to ignore.
I'm sorry for the obscenely long link there, but that image just makes me itchy every time I see it.
Yeah. I saw this same one. I'm not sharing the right screen. Hold on, let me put it on this one. Yeah. There you go. So yeah, like I read about that. That's like an actual group, not necessarily associated with Trump, but you know, it's a group that's saying third term, and it's like that.
I'm not going to get onto the fucking digital state soapbox, because that's not what this is. But
nope. It's frustrating. Maybe you and I just need to start a podcast where and it's like a podcast that never gets released that you can just vent. And there'll be plenty of booze involved in that one. So,
my wife may have she may have guidance on whether or not that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. On to some other news. Oracle breach. I don't know how many people were impacted by this, but this was kind of an interesting one, in the fact that there's a couple different things going on here. There is a hacker has claimed that they stole 8 million records from Oracle Cloud. Oracle is saying that they didn't. The attacker did not steal 6 million records, and that it's not part of it. And then you can kind of see from the statement here, there's a lot of like creative wordplay here. And this all started, like end of March, and you see the April 7th they finally released a statement. So there's a lot going on there. But there's an attack that leveraged a flaw in Oracle Cloud's login. It included SSO credentials, LDAP passwords, OAuth 2, keys, and tenants. There was, because I was following this pretty closely, there were like 2 security research companies that the threat actor was giving out like sample data to people to like confirm the breach, and they were they checked with a couple different companies, and they were confirmed as like actual breaches, but there was a lot of swirl around that too, with people going, well, how old is the data? You know, there's things about like the data being old, other stuff. CloudSec and TrustWave on top of these other 2 security research, like Hudson Rock was one too, also provided evidence. So there's a lot of people. There's over 140,000 tenants affected. so like there's all this evidence saying there's all this things pointing to like an actual issue, and Oracle's still like, nope, not gonna, and they wouldn't put anything in writing either. They would have you talk to like their field CISOs, to like on a call, which wasn't recorded. So they did eventually confirm that the breach was in a legacy system, but it's not their Oracle cloud system. So that's again where they're kind of like they're playing two sides of it. And then there was another incident on top of that with legacy servers at the Oracle healthcare side of the house that was breached, and the threat actor ran off with patient data. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, all over the place.
This is not the first time Oracle's cloud has been kicked over because they acquired somebody and didn't bother doing any onboarding and just left shit unsecured. And on Microsoft's played the same game, right? Where they've got like dev environments that aren't secured properly, and oops, that password also works in prod. Yeah.
Yep. This was a.
But the lawyers are going to do the lawyer thing, right? Of nothing to see here.
Yeah, but Oracle's kind of had this, and I believe their CISO even came out and wrote a blog post about how, like, I don't know, like breach notifications are bad, or
of course you would say that. Yeah. Of course, like,
well, and like
no CISO wants to be in front of the news going, yes, we failed.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like Oracle, just out of all of them, are kind of they kind of have that old mentality, like around these breach notification type things. It's like, that didn't happen. It's like the Austin Powers, like the Austin Powers with the penis pump, right? That's not mine. You can't prove it. Prove it. So yeah. I do have one other news item, but that just broke like an hour ago, so I did not put a slide in here. But what else do you guys have? And maybe you guys bring up the one that I was going to mention.
I mean, I got a couple, but
yeah,
the floor is yours.
You go, Will.
Yeah, this thing I saw right as I got off work was the MITRE news. If anyone saw this, MITRE's federal funding is getting cut.
That's it. That's what I have.
And yeah, it really, it's just, it's going to be, so like, I don't know what's going to happen. So basically, according to Brian Krebs, that it's likely the database is going to go offline. If you need historical CVE data, it's going to go through their GitHub. Yeah, so I mean, I won't say my opinion other than I agree with a lot of what Adam's saying, but beyond that, it's just like, if it gets brought up by a private organization or receives private funding, it's going to really affect like the independence of the scores. I'm sure other people have other thoughts on it, but that's just my 2 cents.
So where does the funding come from?
It was flowing through CISA and all of that, is my understanding. Which CISA, we haven't talked about it. Well, and I wasn't here for last month, but CISA's also been getting absolutely eviscerated in all of Muskrat's bullshit. So there's a bunch of stuff that's been a bunch of people that have been laid off, and God knows how much institutional knowledge and information sharing has been lost. That there's no incentive. Like, if you're going to move it somewhere, where do you move it? Who steps in and fills that void, even for the CVE thing? Because anybody in the industry is going to feel like you're like, is Google going to do it? Does Microsoft trust that data at that point? Do they trust that Google's going to be judicious about sharing information? Or are they going to use it to leverage an advantage in the tech space? They're all competing against each other. Like, this is the only place that made sense previously. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to have to shake out. Not to go back to the international trade thing, but the U.S. is stepping away from a leadership role in a lot of spaces, and this is just one of them. And I have no idea who fills the void here, because I went and looked, because when all of the CISA layoffs happened, I was wondering about the I'm forgetting the acronym, but it's the CISA published list of known exploited vulnerabilities.
Yeah, it's a
AV.
Kev list.
Yes.
Yep.
So if they're not going to publish that anymore because all the people that did are no longer working there, does Europe have one? No, they don't. There's nothing equivalent anywhere in the world that I could find that fills that void. So where does that leave us from a security standpoint? It means that we're going to be in the dark to a large degree, and it's going to be a lot harder to find and fix vulnerabilities. And I don't know how long that goes on.
Well, I think so. I think someone will fill it. The CISA, even despite all the cuts and the layoffs, which also the funny thing about the layoffs, right? They were then told to rehire them, and then they put them on administrative leave like almost immediately, right?
So now they're paying them
again. It's all a
not
shit
to
show.
do any work.
It's a train. Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's very efficient. Let's put people on administrative leave.
Thank you, Doge. Thank you, Department of Government Efficiency, for.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So yes, that aside, again, train wreck, me popcorn, you rage. I do like CISA is still updating the Kev list now. If that's gonna start slipping in quality, because they have done some recently, so that's something I still pay attention to. I think I would imagine that the CVE, because they've been doing it for so long, but I thought last year like there's been an issue with the CVEs as far as like there's just been a massive backlog of them not being done. So I don't know if this is the current administration necessarily, or if this is something behind the scenes going on. I would hope, because I do feel like the administration, if it's big enough and it's valuable enough and enough people scream about it, it gets like the tariffs, for example. Let's put tariffs in place for everybody, and then he reverted it, right? So the hope is, I think, is that like they do get saved. Enough stuff, and there's enough big companies involved in this. Microsoft, like name all the big companies, right? This CVEs are a core principle of what they do. That I think something will happen in the next few days. Maybe not right away, but what is this link? Did this just happen or what? What is this? Words.
Sorry, the link I'm adding is more piling on hating Oracle and Larry Ellison.
Thanks to Constance. Oh, this is from last year. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're just doing all the Oracle stuff. We're talking about CVEs. Why are you on the?
I am aware we've moved on. I'm just throwing in some stuff in chat if anyone wants to read some things.
Okay. All right.
I have another thing, and if we're done bashing on CVEs and wondering if the sky is falling.
Yeah.
Did you see 4chan got kicked over?
No, I hadn't seen this.
Nope.
Did they really? Like kicked over? Like how?
Like they hadn't had an update since like 2016, and somebody decided to update their servers for them. So who knows? Who knows what information's floating around out there?
Oh goodness! Oh goodness!
Yeah, but I mean,
it was just especially funny because like apparently the last post was like the chicken jockey thing from Minecraft was like the last post on 4chan. So yeah, so I mean, good riddance in my opinion, but it's one of those where just
yeah, nothing good happened at 4chan. Nothing.
No. Well, and so that is something I'm seeing a lot more. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I can't remember the name of the ransomware group, but there's a ransomware group that's hacking other ransomware groups right now and just stealing all their Bitcoin, right? So it's like a little bit of a cannibalism, which is kind of cool to see, I guess. So I feel like this is the same way, right? Is that
this is the cyberpunk dystopia that we were promised?
Yeah. Well, but see, and this is the funny thing too. It's like threat actors, they've moved into businesses. They have not focused on cybersecurity at all. And now guess what they have to do? They have to have
Has
a budget
any company
for their
you've ever worked for focused on security?
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. The current place I'm at, but
a little.
But it's just so funny to see like regular companies finally getting. I feel like a lot more companies are starting to get it, right? They're coming on to cybersecurity and realizing they need to put something into it. But these bad guys now, like their infrastructure is just awful every single time. They keep getting, and they're getting more and more hacked. And it's like they're gonna have to have their own DDR solution, which means now you're gonna put Sentinel-1 on your, your infrastructure that's doing ransomware. Like what?
What does that phone call have to be like? You call up an EDR vendor and be like,
look, if you sign an NDA, they can't do anything, right? If you sign the NDA,
I
guarantee you.
I need you to protect us, and also maybe ignore our activity when you see it.
Well, I'm just saying too. Like, give it 10 years, and there will be ADRs focused on that are just working the criminal underground. Their clientele is all criminal underground.
It wouldn't surprise me if one of them spins up a company for that. Like there was a company with malware as a service, right?
Yeah,
that's
what
a
I'm saying.
thing.
Yeah,
What about Kaspersky?
Well, yes, yeah. You're right. You are a nail on the head. That's right there. Yeah.
Protecting attackers since
they've been banned.
1972.
So there's your salesperson. What's that meeting like though? It's like, well, can we meet on Zoom? They're like, no, we can't use Zoom because you get too much like telemetry information from our conversation.
It's probably the only product you can buy with Bitcoin for EDR.
Yep.
God,
right. Yep.
The sale coordinated over Signal Chat, along with the missile strike.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, right? Is that like now they're saying like Signal's not a good, at least for nation states, I guess, right? For the regular consumer, Signal's probably really good, but for nation states, like if they now know that the U.S. government is doing strikes and other plans on Signal, like how does that play with like China and Russia that are trying to hack U.S. officials, right?
Right. Like where do you want to get monitoring code suddenly? Like how do we get that embedded in all of the Signal? Like
yeah, it's just so fascinating.
But boys, that's not the kind of thing you want to have, not the kind of pressure you want. It's not going to end well.
All right, any other news items?
No, and I have a beer that's in a freezer that I really need to go and rescue.
Yes, please do that.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and me, as your presenter, is going to, like I said, do my presentation for my upcoming conferences. It's Timothy D. Block Presents Fun with Fishes. That is a Big Bang Theory reference for anybody that's asking. It's a play on Sheldon's Fun with Flags.
I intend to disrupt you and keep you from presenting as much as humanly possible.
That's what I hope for. You are my heckler within that I learn how to deal with during my actual presentation. So we'll do that. We'll be right back after these silent messages because I don't think anybody's even watching on the live stream at this point.
That would be amazing if we had just like meme advertisements.
Ooh.
Have ChatGPT draw us up some ads for things that don't exist. That sounds like maximum awful.
Oh my god! If this thing ever makes money, like Adam, I'm hiring you just to do that.
I don't know if y'all have watched The Good Place. If you haven't, you should fix that because it's absolutely excellent. But that sounds like an idea straight out of The Bad Place. I'm just saying.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Yep.
I
need to rewatch that. I'm going back through and rewatching stuff. That's definitely on my list to rewatch.
I started it and we got to like midway through season 3 and got distracted with life, and my wife and I restarted it, and I'm absolutely adored the second pass. Wonderful.
It's one of those, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is another one that I watch because it's from the same creator, and you start watching and you're like, this just hits from the get-go. Like there's certain shows that people are like, oh, you gotta watch it. You start watching, you're like, I don't know. They're like, just give it a chance. Like Good Place, just right from the get-go. It's like,
go. I think
hilarious.
after we finish Good Place, I'm gonna jump on to Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Community.
Community's another good one.
Yeah, those are both great. Yeah.
What about if you like Brooklyn Nine-Nine? What about Angie Tribeca?
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
Exactly.
What? David is hanging here.
It's too good for you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Not too good.